Hello. Okay, this is Lynn Courage. Now I'm hoping I am live to my Facebook page and to my groups, my Marvelous Mind, the community group, and to Untangled the membership. So bear with me while I just check all of these things. I am using a new way of streaming this, and it's making me nervous that it's not working. So let's see if I can get some just clarity that I am live in the group. I'm going to check Untangled because that's the main one. Yes, I think I am. Okay, brilliant. And let me just double check that I am also live on my Facebook page. Yes. Yay. Okay, so anybody watching, I would be so grateful if you could say hi. I know that there's a few people in the membership that will be watching, and also on my business page too. Now, the trouble is, the way that I'm doing this, hi, Sarah. Amazing. Okay. Now, where are you watching this, Sarah? Let me know where you're watching it from, and then I know what's working and what isn't. Oh no, shush. Okay. Now, I did a live earlier on in my Marvelous Mind, the Facebook group, the community group, and it was a bit hilarious, really. So I'm hoping that I am not going to be distracted by... There's a delay between my video and what I'm saying. So I'm just looking at myself so I don't get distracted by that. So it just means that every few minutes I'll check in with any comments or messages. So welcome to the first session of the Habit Cracker. Now, this has changed a bit over the last few days and the last week, really. I decided that rather than just keep it within the Untangled membership group, I would share it to my Facebook page. I don't think I've done lives on my Facebook page since the days that I was cooking with my children during lockdown. So this has been a while. And the reason I'm doing it is because I just want to share this idea and this concept with you. And to give you an insight into what I'm doing with my coaching practice and my Marvelous Mind and the new Untangled membership. So let me just give you a little bit of an overview of the Habit Cracker. The Habit Cracker is something that I started creating about 5 years ago. It has evolved massively. And what you're seeing today is the first of 6 sessions that I'll deliver live in this way. Hopefully it will become more seamless as I go along. And the ultimate aim is to teach you how to create awareness in your life about what you're experiencing, and therefore what you can do to overcome it in order to either navigate difficult situations or to achieve your goals and your dreams. So what I will say, and what I say to all of the groups that I present to, this is not about me teaching you how to be perfect. Look at how wonderful I am. You need to copy me. It's not about that. I'm a mum of 3 boys. My house is chaotic. I run a business. I work in a school. And it is about showing you how to understand yourself so that you can overcome some of these things that maybe you have felt have been holding you back. The Habit Cracker is one of 3 independent programs that will be a part of the new Untangled membership, but they will also be standalone in the sense that you will be able to join them separately from the membership if you choose to. It's, in all honesty, a way of me being able to share what I do without expecting you to pay to join before you know. So, as I say, this is the first of 6 sessions. Today is about awareness. It's about uncovering what your habits are. So before I dive into that, I'm just going to double check that I haven't got any extra messages anywhere. I don't think so. And then we will dive in. Oh, yay. Hi, Kelly. I love this. Okay, so please bear with me if I miss any messages. Oh, I'm creating pop-ups all over my screen. Right, okay, so the habit cracker. 6 weeks to uncover your habits and overcome them in a way that makes you feel good so that you feel in control of your life and so you are not at the mercy of who you are and your experiences. So what are your habits? Our habits are what shape us. They inform our identity and they inform our success and our progress. They're linked to our beliefs. They are essentially what we do on repeat without conscious thought or awareness about it. And they present in different ways, and some are super helpful and some are not. Now, for those guys that are watching, I would love to get a sense of what are the habits maybe that you are aware of that you would like to give focus to and overcome, and I'll come back to those later on in the session. I expect this session to be half an hour-ish. It kind of depends on how many people contribute and comment, and how much I go off on a tangent, as I am very much known to be. So awareness is everything. Now, there are lots and lots of areas of research and statistics that suggest that 95% of our behaviours are unconscious, and that about 43% of those are habitual. And I saw a quote a little while ago that said that mistakes repeated are decisions. And in a sense, I agree with it, and in a sense, I don't. Because if we work on the principle that we're just not aware of these things, we don't know that we're doing these things half the time, that we're behaving in a certain way, that we're thinking in a certain way, and that these things are influencing our outcomes. So we don't know what we don't know. But if you look at your answer to what habits is it that you're looking to give focus to in your life right now, that answer is your gift. It's your route in to uncover what it is that's going on for you that makes that so. And for the most part, we tend to think about the things that we either want to achieve or overcome. So that habit that you want to give focus to will tend to be something that you want to adopt and actually integrate into your life in order to create success, maybe in health and fitness or business or career or relationship. But it could also be something that you want to stop doing, that causes you frustration, a sense of like stagnation in life, where you're just not making the progress that you want. I hope that makes sense. If at any point during this live stream you're like, I don't really understand what you're talking about, Lynn, please pop in a comment and I will do my best to address those at the end if I don't catch them on my way through. I'm not planning on sharing vast quantities of slides. I might, in a minute, see if I can do a screen share, just to share a couple of models, because wouldn't it be lovely if we wanted to do something and we just went ahead and did it, right? But the reality is that we don't. The things that we want to do and change in our life sometimes feel really, really hard. And this is where habits come in. Habits that support what we want to achieve, and the habits that maybe are holding us back from what we want to achieve. So when you think about that habit you want to change, the goals, the way to take control is actually linked to all of those subtle unconscious habits that are attached to that thing that you want to change. And let me just share this quick model actually, if I can. I'm just going to open up the right screen on my internet. Otherwise, you'll just see me on Facebook on my computer as well. Connection pathway. So the model that I'm about to bring up on my screen that I'm really hoping you're going to be able to see is the screen share. This is the connection pathway. Now then, let me see if I can make it bigger for you. Oh, I'm sure these live streams will get smoother and smoother as I go along. Actually, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this. Share. See all. Present. Okay. Okay, I just wanted to make it bigger so everybody can see it. The connection pathway is the model that the Untangled membership follows. But the reason I'm showing it to you is actually to show you where your habits, your behaviors sit in relation to all of these other elements. In the membership at the moment, we're talking about our environment and how that influences the way that we behave, our skills and capabilities, obviously intrinsically linked with our habits and behaviors, our values and beliefs, and our identity. All of these are threaded through with our emotions. That's what that heart stands for at the bottom. So let me just stop this screen share because I don't need to keep on with that. I'll pop a copy of that below this, this video. But all of these elements are linked and influence the things that you choose to do and the things that you choose not to do. But as I say, your way in is your gift of awareness about the things that you aspire to change. When I think about this, I'm brought to mind my think tank model, which is like a diagnostic tool. You start with what you're noticing and you work out what it is that's creating that pattern and that cycle. When it comes to habits, there is a cue or a trigger that leads to a routine off the back of which you get a reward. So if I give you the analogy of maybe snacking habits or drinking habits, things like that, there is a situation that leads us to snack, and then there is a feeling off the back of that snack that brings us comfort and pleasure. In a nutshell, that's that little pattern that we're looking to change. But there are three things that hold us back. In addition to the awareness piece, which is what we're going to be ending with today, to uncover what that is for you. What are these habits that create your day-to-day experiences? But the three things that hold us back as human beings, number one is patience. When we want to change something, we want an immediate result. And the reality is that most results take time. And if I just refer back to what I've just said about the cue, the routine, and the reward for most of our habitual ways of being is some form of pleasure or safety. in the short term, it's immediate. And so it's an easy opt-in to get a certain feeling, particularly in the face of any type of struggle or stress in your life, in work or in family, just in your day-to-day experiences. So patience is one of the first things that that stands in our way, because we start to do something, going to the gym is a perfect example. You want to get fit, you want to adopt the habit of going to the gym. Your mind is saying, oh my gosh, that's going to be hard. You go to the gym, but it takes time to build up the results that you want, that make you want to go again and again and again. And so we drop out, or we don't continue, we don't get the results, and we remain in that cycle of pleasure, which is ultimately replaced by frustration. Let me just check in and make sure that I'm not missing any comments. If you've got any questions as I go through, please, please, please do let me know. 1 or 2 comments. Okay. So layering up daily positive habits, 5-minute rule. I'm going to come to that because that's a part of the solution. Favorite development tools. Okay. So yeah, so there are lifestyle habits like smoking that we want to rid ourselves of. And then the psychological habits, for example, of procrastination. These are a couple of examples that have been given inside one of my Facebook groups. So all of these are relevant. The good and the bad. Some of these habits support you. Some of them will hold you back. When I did a workshop on this inside the membership a couple of weeks ago, and I said, what's your initial perception of habits? What comes to you when I say that word? One of the members said, habits are the things that help me to achieve the things that I want to do. And one of the members said, habits are the things that get in my way. And it is true in equal part, but awareness of what those things are allow us to build on it. As I say this, one of my clients, Sarah, you're going to recognize one of the analogies that I believe is really, really useful for habits. But let me rein my marvelous mind in. Patience is the first thing that holds you back. Comparison. So you want to achieve something, you want to overcome something, you want to build a business, create a peaceful, calm life, have a wonderful relationship, have a fabulously fit body, and perfectly behaved children. Sound familiar? What we tend to do, especially piggybacking off the back of impatience, is, right, what can I do to find a solution? Well, we look outside of ourselves, and especially in this day and age of social media, yes, I know I'm using it, hopefully I'm one of the good ones, you will look at other people and what you perceive to be what life should look like, and you will compare yourself. And as soon as you start comparing yourself, you are setting up barriers between you and where you want to go. Because if there is an underlying belief there within your mind that says you can't achieve that, it's going to take too long, you're not disciplined enough, you're not good enough, you see someone else that you perceive to have that answer, that solution, that way of life, or that thing that you aspire to, and rather than a motivating outcome, you will fall back on the belief that that's not possible for you. And I know that because that's the way our marvelous minds work. If you want to find solutions, yes, by all means, look at people who have got there and use it consciously as a modeling strategy to get to where you want to go. But for the most part, we fall into comparison and it holds us In fact, you need to go within yourself to find the solutions that you need in order to see what works for you. And again, that is what the habit cracker is going to do. We're going to look at what those habitual routines are for you. Number 3 is the meaning that you give to your experience and to where it is that you want to go. So what I mean by that is, if you are wanting to get fit and you need to go to the gym, you need to adopt different lifestyle habits, different ways of eating, different ways of being, drinking, socializing. Oh my gosh, there are so many different areas of life that come into play when we want to create some of these changes. If the meaning that you give to the things that you need to do are hard work, sacrifice, deprivation, all of those things, then the way will feel hard, impatience will heighten, and you end up not taking the action that you want. There's another element to meaning as well that I want you to give consideration to, and that is the meaning associated with the outcome that you're looking for. We often look at these things at surface level, so rather than it being about what becomes possible when you achieve this goal or overcome this challenge, we just look at the best analogy that always pops into my head is the losing weight one. This is not just about lifestyle. It could be about your relationship, your career, or anything like that. And I'll try and bring those into play more in the heat of the moment. This is what's coming to me. I want to lose weight. Ends there. If you look at what becomes possible, who you are and who you become as a result of achieving that thing, then you have a deeper meaning. We will always choose pleasure over pain. So the objective is to make the long-term pleasure more attractive than the short-term one, or more attractive than the perceived sacrifices or hardships that will take you there. Am I making sense? Just want to make sure I'm not missing any messaging. Let me know. I'm just going to hang fire to make sure I'm not missing you. Apologies if I do miss any messages. I will come back to them at the end. Just check untangled. Okay. Okay, good. We're good. Okay, so I'm hoping you're getting an understanding of the foundation of these habits. Now, I believe that one of the best ways to overcome some of those psychological hurdles that stand in our way between where we are and what we want to achieve is to find new perspectives, to look at things in a different way, from a different angle, with a view to a different outcome than maybe where you are now. And so rather than looking at the things that you want to overcome or achieve by way of, I need it now, I'm not good enough, look how easy they find it, not by, oh my gosh, it's going to be such hard work, it's going to take such a long time, but to look at your habits as building blocks. This is why I mentioned to Sarah earlier, you'll recognize some of this. I use these words with my clients because if we look at one thing as being this massive, all-consuming obstacle that must be defeated in some way, that's where overwhelm comes from. It's where, oh my gosh, I've got to do all of these things and I've got to do it now and I've got to change it. If we look at where we want to go and consider our habits, our ways of being as building blocks, then you can layer up what you want. They are not problems. They are your safety nets. They are the things that support the ways that you want to live and be and achieve. But I want to caveat that with, make sure that the things that you say that you want are founded in truth, that they are founded in authenticity of who you are and not driven by lack and comparison. So by that I mean, is this thing that you say that you want, is it driven by a should? Oh, I should be doing this. I don't really want to, but I should be doing it because that's what everybody else says that we should be doing. And of course, the wonderful world of social media, we look at everybody else and we perceive everything to be perfect for everybody except ourselves. And I can assure you that everybody's life is chaotic, certainly for the most part. So are you being driven by a should, or are you being driven by an authenticity? Are you being driven by a must? I must do this because otherwise, and that's also founded in scarcity. And I've experienced that deeply, particularly associated with business, and I must achieve this, I must do that. And the more that you feel that, the more that you have that external pressure, perceived external pressure, the harder it can feel to make the changes that you need to achieve the things that you want to achieve. Or are your desires, your goals, the habits that you want to adopt or change, are they driven by a want, desire? And that is the energy that you want to come from, something that you want to do that creates an excitement for the outcome. And yes, having an element of commitment and motivation is important from the must side, right? But if we wait until we must do something, quite often it's a bit too late, or quite often it feels too much. And if we can catch ourselves in that space of desire, that is a much better place to do this work from. So, what can you do? Let me share another image with you. Every single thing that we do is a part of a pattern, a much bigger pattern. And in fact, before I do that, I'll just do you a quick diagram on my trusty whiteboard. And I will share these PDFs below so that you can have them. But when I think of habits, I think of my think tank model, which spells the word tears, because that's what we drive ourselves to. When we are trying to overcome a challenge, or we're trying to adopt or change something in our life, it can often bring us down and bring us to tears. And so this is the pattern that ultimately I would like you to understand and integrate. And your habits come in here. They are your actions and your behaviors that are led by your emotions, that are preceded by your thoughts. And what we're interested in here with habits is the results that you're getting. And are you actually progressing towards where you want to be, the situation you want to find yourself in, or to get yourself out of? Okay. This, in a nutshell, is the think tank model. And if you want to know more about that, you can join the free Marvelous Mind community Facebook group, because within that I run Think Tank Thursdays, which is what I've been doing earlier today. So what can we do? We need to create an awareness of what we're doing. The good, the bad, and the indifferent. If you think about it in terms of how your day unfolds from the minute that you wake up in the morning to the minute that you go to bed at night, we have a series of habits that stack and that layer up and influence another habit and another habit. So they will involve the mundane stuff, like brushing your teeth, like walking the dog, like making the kids pack lunches, like driving to work or commuting, setting yourself up for your meetings, preparing the dinner, all of those normal day-to-day things that are interspersed with other habitual ways of being, maybe like using social media, checking your emails, texting, snacking, exercising, doing other hobbies, going to classes. You get the picture. Some of these are habits of commitment, things that we just do, that we choose to do and choose to commit to each and every day. And others are more environmental and emotionally driven, like the social media, like the snacking, these bits that we intersperse our day with. And if you're anything like me, when I ask you to track your habits, you might want to roll your eyes or stick pins in them. It's not something that I've always relished doing. But just to get a snapshot, it is hugely helpful. So below this video, I'm going to share a really simple form, just a habit tracker sheet. Because in order to crack your habits, you have to track them. If we're not aware of the patterns that form around everything that we experience, we can't change them. And that's the bottom line. If you are struggling to make changes, there will be something that is linked to that habit that is standing in your way. We flush it out, then we can change it. So this is like just the tune in. What are you doing in and around those everyday things that are influencing the way that you feel, the way that you think, the way that you show up in those different areas of your life? I hope that is making sense. So one of my favorite ways to do this is not only by writing down, but by just creating a practice of awareness. One of the biggest challenges that we have is, for the most part, we're not trained to think about ourselves. We're trained to wake up and think about the children or work or partners or husbands or friends. Our energy and focus doesn't tend to be on ourselves. Yes, you might notice that you're stressed, or you might notice that your to-do list is too long. but we're not really aware of what is contributing to those things. So I teach a practice called the 5 minute rule. And in a similar way to meditation, it's not meditation, but it's really just shutting out the noise for a bit. When my youngest was really small and I was starting all of this work, I found it really hard to get my head around having to learn something new, like learn meditation. Um, and journaling felt challenging. So I started doing this 5 minute rule. You wake up in the morning and you just ensure that you get 5 minutes to yourself. If you have a busy household, super young children, or you work unsociable hours, just keep in mind that this really has to be at a time of the day that you are undisturbed by anything else. So screens, emails, work, children, partners, friends, anything like that. You really are just shutting out the noise for 5 minutes. And if you can't do five, do two, but really 5 minutes just to go, how am I doing? Right? Allow yourself to notice where you're starting from and where your focus is for the day ahead. The second part of the 5 minute rule is to run the same practice, but at the end of the day. So you're bookending your day with how am I feeling? How's today gone? And it's that end bookend, which from a habit perspective is massively useful because you can look back on the day and go, okay, well, what went well today? You know, did I do that thing that I said I was going to do? Did I send the email, go to the gym, eat the food that I say I want to do? Notice what is going on for you. And when you do that in tandem with just outlining your habits, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's going to be loads of them, and I want there to be loads and loads of just seemingly pointless and meaningless habits, because when you combine that with the bigger picture of what is going on for you, then you can go. So in the later sessions of the Habit Cracker, we're going to be looking at how can we start to curate a habit structure that works for you. How can you inject new habits on top of old ones? How can you change them up? How can you flip your experience? We're going to do lots and lots of different ways of integrating the experiences that you want in order to achieve the goals or the outcomes that you aspire to. I'm just making sure that I've covered everything that I said. So you don't have to use the sheet, but I will share it just in case. That will come, I'll post that later today. Piece of paper, journal, or the tracker sheet. Over a period of 7 days between now and the next session, list out everything that you can on a typical day. On a typical day, and just notice if anything significantly shifts at different times of the week, depending on what you're doing, who you're with, and I guarantee they will, because the more that you're aware of the patterns, the more that you can take control of them. So that's the first thing, is do that. Second thing is to practice the 5 minute rule and just train yourself into awareness. You cannot change what you don't know. Okay. That said, I do believe, even when I don't follow through on things that I say that I want to do, that every second of every day is a choice. Yes, things happen to us, situations occur that are seemingly beyond our control. But what we do get to affect is how we respond to those things. You know, and where we say, oh, well, I can't change this in my life because of such and such, you're giving your power away to that such and such, to that thing. And it's my job to show you how you can take that power back. And awareness is the first step of that. If you have any questions, you are welcome to message me. You can join the Untangled membership. I'll put the link below to join that. The doors actually officially open in January. This is kind of like a taster, and you can join a small group of women, and we do weekly group coaching on various topics. I won't go into that now. What else did I need to say in courage? You know, our habits shape who we are. Let's make them shape who we want to be. Message me if you have any questions. I will double check on comments and I'll make sure that I answer anything that has come up that I have missed. I need to work out this whole streaming thing in a way where I can actually see what's going on. So I'm going to leave it there, and I'm sure I've forgotten something, but I will catch you soon. Let me work out how to end these lives now. Okay. End live video. I am going now. All right, take it easy.